I have prepared the body already. So at the moment I have got a half-dressed Daisy Fairy. She's got quite a big head, this one, on purpose. Some people like them with bigger heads anyway. There's nothing in there to give her a face, but if you've already made our fairies, again, that's on the playlist, how to embroider a face on her, then you can add eyes and the mouth if you wish. Some of you have made so many already, you don't need telling anymore. And so first of all, I will show you, this dress I've just put on her, and I've felted it flat on her upper body. But what I want to show you now is, because we need to make the underneath of the fairy nice and neat. So to do this, all I've done is I've folded in the wispy ends that I've put on her. So fold them in as neatly as you can. Sometimes it really helps to bend the arms out of the way, so have them up in the air. And then all you need to do is use your felting needle and just sort of gently stab into the edge here. So you're stabbing into her yellow pants, basically, and making that edge nice and neat. And you can just very gently stab into the outside here as well. So you can just hold your little fairy gently by her head. Sounds terrible, but you can just do that, and then just gently make almost sort of like a little trumpet shape skirt. So you're not felting this solid into a solid felt, you're just shaping it so that it looks more like a flower, or it becomes part of the flower from underneath. So you just felt that in. You can make it really quite small, or you can keep it a little bit more open. That's entirely up to you. And it also helps if when you've done that, and you can hold her like this, and then you've got a better base to just stab into these bits. Just don't stab into your hand. That's always the thing, of course. And that's basically how you prepare her bloomers in a way. There we go. And when you've done that, then you will need your wool. So basically you split the wool into, it should be about 30 centimeters long, which it is. You split it into two, and to split a wool top, don't do this. Don't go like really tearing at it. You're not gonna do that. Hold it at the further ends, and then all you need to do is let it separate by itself by just gently pulling it, and it's happening. You can't probably see it yet, but I can feel it. It's gently coming apart, and then you should have two of the similar length wool tops, which is exactly what I have got. This is a very similar technique to what we've done with the Rainbow Fairy, if you had her last month. Some of these fairies we're keeping in our regular program. I just have to decide which one is the front and which one is the back. I think I'm going to go for this one, which is the front. So I'm going to bend the little toes in so I don't forget that. And then you lay your fairy on top of one strand, and then cover her up with the other strand like that. And then you use your extra strong thread, which comes in your fairy box, which I didn't keep out, so I'm going to get that out of the box now. There we go. So the extra strong thread is meant to be for the head and for the skirt, but you do get plenty in there, so you should have enough to use for both. There we go. It is definitely very long, and this one's doubled up as well, so you get plenty in there. And then you need just cut a length off. This is just to prepare her skirt, so we're gonna, this is not going to be showing at the end of it. And all you're going to do now is you're going to tie the waist and make sure that this is sort of in the middle. So we want two equal lengths if we can manage. So tie her waist. If you put a surgical knot on it, so a surgical knot, I understand is, I call it a double slip knot, but apparently there's a proper name for it. So instead of just going through it once, you're actually going through it twice, and when you pull that tight, that means that you don't need the extra finger to hold it down because it already holds its own, but you can still undo it if you need to, and then you can just put a knot then you can knot it after that. Oh, I'm getting caught up with all the wispy fibers. So I'm just pulling that through, and now I'm pulling this tight, and then you can cut the string already short because we don't need that. We don't need it to show. And then you have to obviously lower the dress. It is such a fine wool. It's so beautiful. So lower the two strands that you've put on there down. Might have to pull it a little bit so that it slips along her waist. And also what you need to do is you do need to just, so even if you just hold it tight like this for now, just pull it down a little bit and then felt into her waist so that the wool actually stays down and doesn't want to pop up. So just give her a bit of a stab around her little waist. There you go. And what we're actually doing next is adding the hair in the instructions, and that is because once we arrange her little dress into flower petals, we don't really want to mess with her in any other way. So what I'm going to show you now is how to do the hair. So the skirt will come back to it again, but that is how you make the skirt for now. But now next you're going to attach the hair. And the hair works with what we call looped strands. So you've got your wool here, and you can make a few of these looped strands so that they're about 10 centimeter long. So remember, you can measure that against your instructions. And all you're doing is you're just using, just make a few strands so that they're looped together still, 10 centimeter long. Just a few strands. And we do about 6 loops. And cut it so they're all still looped, and then you start to frame the head. We always when we put hair onto a fairy, we tend to frame her face first. Oh god, I've got a really itchy nose today. So you're felting these on the side, felt them in, so we're not cutting the loops at all at the moment. We cut them at the very end, but it helps to felt the wool in, that they're looped at the top, because you've got more to felt into the head. And then you just keep repeating that. That's it. That's how you do the whole of the head, all going all the way around. But obviously, maybe frame the head first. You've got plenty of wool there. I mean, there's probably more than you need, but we always like to be a bit more generous rather than having you deprive you of materials. So I'm adding more of this on the same side because I haven't sort of quite framed her head properly yet, and I've got lots and lots of wool. So I'm putting that in there. The idea is that the hair will sort of kick out at the bottom a little bit, so it's like a really happy hairdo. So when it's done, you felted it to the side of the head all the way around, and then you cut the loops open at the bottom, and then it sort of like springs out to the side. However, as with all of our projects, we love to see variations or interpretations that you decide to put on, such as maybe you want to give her pigtails, maybe you want to give her even a wilder hairdo, maybe I don't know, maybe you want to cut her hair really short, or whatever you're planning on doing. Just share it with us at Everyone a Maker on our Facebook group, where we will also where you can also enter the competition with any of your subscription makes, including the surprise box, which of course that's always the biggest surprise for all of us, because we don't know what you'll get up to. So now I've framed her face, as you can see. This white soft wool top will definitely get in the way occasionally, so you have to keep stroking it down. And then I'm covering the back of the head in exactly the same way. So this is how you this mohair yarn is brilliant, because it has got so many hairy bits sticking out that they felt in really well. So I'm always working with these looped strands, adding them on, covering the top of her head where you can probably see the pipe cleaner, and adding that onto there. Remember, you can watch this again anytime. We will add sections of this whole live stream onto our YouTube channel, so you don't have to listen and watch me from beginning to end, covering everything if you only want to see specific techniques. So we will have this hair technique and the skirt technique added onto a separate as a separate shorter version of a technical tutorial, and you can find these on our playlist on YouTube. So just look for the playlist, and there you find all the fairy techniques and maker's box techniques and all the rest of it. Oh, don't want all of that here. So last loop. I've still got lots of wool left here, so you can definitely go wild with this daisy and her hair. You can give it a fringe as well if you want, or you can just have them sort of like going to one side. The hair, I'm trying to do this as fast as I can. You will probably take a lot more care than I do. And then once you've got the hair on, I mean, you can keep it in loops. Once you've got it on, you just cut the loops open. So, and that sort of, I think that helps the hair also, that it just sort of pings up a bit, which I really like. Who would have thought? Right, that one needs to be cut off. So just cut the loops open and you will see that the hair pings up. That's a very technical term. There we go. So, and that's basically how you give her that sort of really lovely hair that swings up a little bit. You can obviously trim it. You can make it shorter if it's not as even as you'd like it to be. Like my loops, some of them were a bit longer than the others. And that is how you give her hair. And then we're coming back to the skirt. So we're going to continue on the skirt now. It's one of the last things that we do. And what you're going to do is you're going to split it into sort of rough, maybe into 3 parts at the front. There we go. 3 parts at the front and 3 parts at the back. Yeah. And there. Twist that, which is way bigger than what you want it to be. Okay. And then the scary thing is that you're actually cutting now the tips off. Yeah. And then what you do is you're going to split the bits that you've already twisted again into 2. So every single petal split into 2 again. And this is, you're only working with your fingers. You're not doing any needle felting here. And you're just turning them into, because daisies have got lots of petals. So you want to make as many petals as you can make out of this, but just twist the end again. And these are neater ends now than they were before, because you had the straggly bits right at the end, but this time you've cut it so that they are not so straggly. And that way, ooh, see what I mean about the skirt? You really don't want to mess with that fairy lots. So you can pull them further apart so that they're a little bit more like petals. And that way you make a really beautiful little skirt with her. And I sort of put her legs like she's crossing them, so there's not too much to see when she's turned upside down. And that's basically how you arrange your little daisy skirt. And then she's got that lovely flower right underneath as well.